What up, though? December 14th, 2025. It's 7:06 p.m. I'm going to add on to that video that I recorded December 11th, 2025 when I was driving to Fort Myers. And I drove up to the Advanced Auto Parts and I was telling a story about this lady that got into a car accident back in 2016. Like I said, I think this was February, March, or April of 2016. And I was in my mom's gold Benz truck. My mom had a all gold or tan colored Benz truck, and she had got it in 2015 because um I think this was on the 24th of March 2015. My mom got hit by a drunk driver that was driving the company van. I don't know what kind of company the man worked for. I just know he had some type of business or some shit like that. My mom was walking through the parking lot of the gas station and some dude hit her in a van. That's why she had a messed up knee. And they was telling her she needed knee replacement and stuff like that because some dude that actually ran her over, like hit her. And I remember taking off of work when I was working at Coca-Cola. I told them that I couldn't come in to work the next day. And they had told everybody because the next day this dude named Jody asked me, my supervisor, Jody was like, how's your mom? And I'm like, yeah, she good. When I was in the hospital with her in the waiting room, I still remember it was this white dude and this white lady holding each other hands in the waiting room. And the white lady was like rocking back and forth like she was nervous and she was like crying and stuff like that. She was young. She looked like she was about late 20s. The dude that was holding her hand looked like he was probably in his early 30s. It was this white couple. And my mom had a neck brace on. When she went in to see the doctor and all of that, I had left and then went back on 2145 Canal Street. They said that she was good, but her knee was kind of like messed up. She needed they told her that she was going to need a knee replacement in the future. This is in March 2015. So my mom had a lawsuit with that person who hit her. And that person that hit her filed for bankruptcy the very next month. You know what I'm saying? Because they went to court and he filed for bankruptcy. And my mom lawyer that gave her like $2,000 or $3,000. And then she bought that Benz truck in 2015. This is in like late summer 2015 or early fall of 2015. She bought that tan color or that golden Benz truck. So after I had got shot, December 5th, 2015, by 2016, this was when I was living with my mom in Cape Coral. Because after I got shot, I moved in with her in Cape Coral. And I was driving in her truck in 2016 now. You know what I'm saying? I was on short-term disability for like 3 months. So I wasn't going to work at Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? So on this particular day, I don't know if this is, I know it was kind of cold outside, January, February, March. I just know it was 2016 and I was pulling up out of the gas station at the 7-Eleven in Fort Myers, Florida on MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And across the street from me, it was an Advanced Auto Parts. I heard a loud bang. I was at a red light. I heard a loud bang and I looked over to my left and I saw that I saw two cars in the air. You know what I'm saying? One of the cars did a flip like this, hit the power lines in the air, and then landed on his tires. You know what I'm saying? The other car that hit that car that was in the parking lot, after it hit it, it did like this, and then it landed over in the grass. That car that landed over in the grass ejected some lady out of the driver window because she had glass in her hair. You know what I'm saying? Because after I saw the car accident, I jumped in the left lane on MLK, made a U-turn, and then I made a right turn inside of the Advanced Auto Parts store. And I called 911 when I got there. If somebody is throwing some type of lie on my name, it was 100 fucking cameras out there. The only way that a lie could get told on my name is somebody said I had anything to do with that at all, that car accident at all, in any kind of way, is if the police is involved in it. Another thing, this is in 2018. I think I was on short-term disability again because I had hit the back of my foot with my pallet jack. One day I was working at Pepsi, and I got off the pallet jack and it hit the back of my foot, hit the heel of my foot, the back of my foot. And I thought it was broke because I was in like speed mode when I was like working and shit. It was the end of the night. And I hurt my foot. As a matter of fact, that same exact night I hurt my foot, it was the last day for this dude named Shane Gallard that was working at the Pepsi warehouse. This dude named Shane. It was his very last day working there. And I remember it was one of the pallet jacks that you stand on. And I jumped off of it. You know what I'm saying? Well, it wasn't like I just like a solid jump up, but I got off and then I was using it to like accelerated while I was grabbing some cases and stuff, putting it on this pallet jack, and it hit the back of my foot. And I went to the doctor that night. I went to the emergency room that night, and they put a cast on my foot, and they gave me some crutches. So I was on short-term disability around this time. I think this was around this time, but the point that I'm making is, I had that Sada Baby song playing, that Block Party song playing in the back on this particular day. I was either off work, because when they put me on short-term disability, they put me on light work. So I came in early in the morning. I came in around like 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So I would leave when the sun was still up. And this was either when I was on light work, or maybe I was just on my lunch break. All I know is I was driving down Fowler Street, and it was these two. They looked like they was Hispanic, or there was some light-skinned girls. They looked Hispanic though. They was driving down Fowler, and I'm like, I got my blunt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm smoking my blunt or whatever, and that Block Party song came on, and I turned that shit up, and I'm smoking and shit. I'm hotboxing and shit, and the ladies on the side of me is looking over me laughing and shit. They're around the same age as me. I think we passed an intersection. It was four-way. It was like going down Fowler Street. You know, on the right side of the street, that's one way. Then on the left side is, you know, it's a one way also, going the opposite direction. It was like a four-way intersection or whatever. It was a red light. I stopped at the red light, and the girls that was looking at me on the car that was on the left side of me, I'm in the right lane driving down Fowler. You know what I'm saying? They on the left side of me. When I stopped at a red light, I realized they kept going, and I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? It was too late for me to say anything. And it wasn't like it was a yellow light that turned into a red light. It was an actual red light. So when I realized that they kept going and they drove through oncoming traffic, they must have been that focused on me. I know they was looking at me laughing, but I didn't know that they was looking at me that much. I think they had me on Snapchat or something. They was probably Snapchatting me off. So I saw this lady driving down. I think this was around like Hanson Street, yo, or if not Hanson, Edison or something like that. If not Edison, it was one of the. All I know was shit. I think it was Hanson Street. I'm not certain. All I know is it was some ladies coming this way, right? Some old ladies. It was two old ladies in the car. Both of them was black. You know what I'm saying? They were senior citizens. So I'm going down Fowler like this. I stopped at the red light. The girls that's on the left side of me, they kept going. The old ladies, they got the right of way, so they drove past the green light. I saw the old lady slow down. They could have stopped. And they chose to basically like get hit. So they driving past, you know what I'm saying? It's the green light on their side. And they got hit by the two ladies that looked like they was Hispanic. So then as soon as they hit them, I bust a right turn on the street that the old ladies had the right of way on. I bust a right turn over there. And then I basically turned around, because after they got hit, the other ladies, they drove on the other side of the intersection. They drove past the red light that they ran, and they parked over on the side. You know what I'm saying? By the curb. I asked the old ladies who was basically in the middle of traffic. They cars like basically in the middle of traffic, like in the middle of the intersection, in the middle of oncoming traffic and all of that. But they had the right of way. The ladies that was looking at me driving down the street in my car, they kept going. They ran the red light. So I asked the older ladies, was they all right? They said, yeah. And then I pulled up on the other ladies, and I was like, hey, y'all all right? They didn't say shit to me. They looked at me like they was mad. I just kept it, and I left after that. I kept driving. If somebody has thrown that on my name in any kind of way, yo, the only way that is possible is if the police involved, because it was too many cameras out there. Way too many cameras out there. This was in 2018, because I was in that Charger when this happened. I'm going to say this again. If anybody says that I was the reason why somebody got hit by a car, if I ran somebody over, or if I ran into somebody at that exact scenery, the only way that is possible to be like stated and then get overlooked is if the police help cover something up like that, because it's a camera on the motherfucking traffic lights. And there was a whole bunch of people out there. It was at least like 20 cars out there. So everybody saw that accident happen. I'm still trying to figure out exactly when that was. If this is when I was on short-term disability, when I was on when I was on light work meaning you can't work in a warehouse. You got to basically work sitting down. So I had my crutches, and I was basically sitting down with this dude named Smiley, and I was just working with him. You know what I'm saying? like putting cans and stuff in the boxes and shit like that. So, man, the only way somebody could throw that on my name, again, the only way somebody can slander my name like that is if somebody, it's the police is in some type of a fucked up way, yo, because this was May 2018 when I hurt my foot. But whenever that dude, Shane Gallard, it was this dude named Shane Gallard, dog, this white dude, oh, I think he was mixed with white. He told me that he was moving to North Carolina with his girlfriend. And he told me it was his last day. I was supposed to kick it with him and talk to him on his last day, like, hey, man, you know, have a safe trip, man. Good luck to you with your life and all of that. But I ended up hurting my foot. So I went outside and I called up the short-term disability people. I was in my car, sitting in the car for like 30 minutes, reporting how I just hurt my foot. And then I went to the emergency room that same night. And then the next day after that, I went to go see a specialist about my foot. You know what I'm saying? And they wrapped my foot up. They put a cast on my foot. So I was on light work. But again, this was in May 2018 this was either April or May 2018 when I hurt my foot. So if that was around the time when I hurt my foot, when those ladies that got into that car accident, this was April or May of 2018. But if I was just on my lunch break, I don't remember the exact day, yo. I remember I was listening to that Block Party song. So again, when I was in that tan Benz truck, my mom, it was like a golden Benz truck. When I was in that car in 2016, I saw this one lady smack into a parked car that was in the Advanced Auto Parts. The parked car flew in the air, did a flip, and then landed on top of the power lines and then landed on its tires. And the power line was basically under that car. And then her car also, the white car that was in the parking lot did like this. It did a flip and then just landed. Her car basically like hit the white car that was parked, like hit the white car, and then it did one of these kind of flips, and she got ejected from her fucking car. She got ejected from the driver window, and she had glass all in her hair. She had blood on her face because her scalp was cut. And when I pulled up over there, I bust a U-turn on MLK, then I bust a right turn into the Advanced Auto Parts, and then I just called the police because I was trying to make sure a girl was all right. When I got up into the parking lot, I saw her car was ruined. I said, whoever's in that car is probably dead, yo. And then I saw her out of my peripheral vision while I was looking in the car on the phone with 911, trying to see if it was somebody in there. You know what I'm saying? She just walked past me, and I looked over at her. She had no shoes on. It was this light-skinned lady with curly hair, and she was just singing and humming to herself. And I couldn't understand, like, what's up with her? Then I realized, oh, she in shock. Because when I was talking to her, she just kept singing and humming to herself. So I was just asking her, like, hey, you should probably just chill, like you could sit down, or, you know what I'm saying, just like, I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I was on the phone with the EMS, and they were just telling me to count every time she breathed. And I'm like, she really good. She just kind of sort of like out of it right now. She was in shock. And when the firefighters got there and they asked who was driving, I was like, it was that lady over there. This white dude looked at her like hell no. He looked at her like, hell no, ain't no way. I was looking at her the same way when I saw her walking. Based on the way her car looked, that lady should have been dead. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that was God. And I said before, that lady must have been drunk, but maybe she wasn't drunk. I said, like, that lady probably could have been getting chased by somebody. That lady probably could have had some type of a panic attack. That lady could have probably had a seizure or something. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. So I had basically rephrased what I said before, because when I originally recorded the video, I said that lady was probably drunk or on a suicide mission, but I don't know what was going on. I don't know how the hell that shit happened. Everybody out there was saying that lady was doing at least 100. It was nothing but cameras out there. But again, in 2018, when these light-skinned girls, they looked like they was like Hispanic, yo, or like, I remember they was fine as hell too. Both of them was beautiful as fuck. I was driving down Fowler, yo. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm lit listening to my shit. I'm smoking my blunt or whatever, listening to my song or whatever. And I stopped at the red light on the left side of me. These ladies, they kept going. And they was looking at me, laughing at me even before we got to that red light. So when I realized that they just drove straight through the red light, I was like, damn, they didn't even realize that they was at a red light. They must have been focused on me that much. This when I was in that all-white 2018 Charger RT, yo. And they drove through traffic. They drove through traffic like this, yo. And the lady had the right-of-way. So they were supposed to stop at the red light. They kept going. The lady that was at the green light, she had the right-of-way. So she did slow down a little bit, but then she kind of like slowed down a little bit. Then she just like kept going. Then they hit her. And then I made a right turn on the street that I was on. And I made a right turn, and then I turned back around, and I was like, hey, y'all all right? It was two ladies in the car. They were senior citizens. And I was like, y'all okay? And they was like, yeah. And then the other ladies that drove through and hit her, they drove past the intersection, and then they pulled over to the right, and they just pulled over next to the curb. You know what I'm saying? And then I pulled over and I asked them, I was like, hey, y'all all right? They ain't say nothing to me. They looked at me like they was mad at me. And I just shrugged my shoulders and went back, turned my music back up and kept smoking my blunt because it was nothing I could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt bad for them that happened, but it wasn't my fault. Like, if they was watching me, like, getting lit and rapping to the song and shit or whatever, I mean, cool, but it was nothing I could do about, like, it was nothing I could do about them, like, hitting that car. You know what I'm saying? If I could have stopped it, I would have. But I stopped at the red light, and I thought that they was looking at me and also paying attention to what was going on. But when they kept going, I was like, damn, yo. So I'm recording this video now just in case some type of a fucked up ass lie was told on me, yo. Cause the only way that somebody could put a lie like that on me, again, it was too many cameras out there. It was cameras all over the motherfucking place. And on top of that, it was a whole bunch of people out there. You know what I'm saying? The only way that shit could be overlooked is if the police was involved in it. It's that simple. Because even if somebody made up a lie, you know, you're still supposed to take the basic procedures to see what really happened. It's traffic fucking lights all over the place with cameras on them. And I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking about, like, when my tires got slashed and all that other stuff, dog. I remember I tried to get this one lady number when I put a restraining order on this one girl back in the day, yo. I tried to get this one lady number in the courtroom. I forgot her name, but she was with her aunties and stuff. The people that was basically putting a restraining order against somebody, they were supposed to be on the right side of the court. And the people who was basically being accused of something, they was on the left side of the court. I was sitting on the middle. I was in the middle part, though. I didn't know I was supposed to be on the right side of the court because I never put a restraining order on somebody before. So I remember trying to get this one lady number, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't, like, she was like, nah, nigga, you in court putting a restraining order on somebody, you asking for my number. I remember laughing on the phone one time with this dude, Tease, back in the day. I ain't talked to that nigga forever. I ain't looking forward to talking to that nigga because a lot of foul stuff was happening and everybody left me hanging, and I'm not no fool, yo. But he was talking about how he got into it with his ex or something like that, and he like slashed her tires or something. His ex Indian, he slashed her tires or something like that. And I was matching the story with him. I ain't do nothing like slash no lady tires, but I remember laughing because when I first broke up with Mona in the spring of 2017, I grabbed all the shit that she bought and I threw that shit away, right? I threw every damn thing away. And then I grabbed the flat screen TV and threw that shit away also. I had hit the lamp that was sitting on the top of the dining room area of the Parker Positano apartments and cut my damn hand. Punched that shit and cut my damn hand. I had to get 18 stitches in my hand. No, I had to get 23 stitches in my hand, but I had 18 stitches along in my right pinky. And I remember the next day I woke up and I looked at my hand and I was like, shit. And I went straight to the doctor. As a matter of fact, the police asked me what happened to me because when I went to the emergency room, they was there for something and they saw my hand. I had blood. I had like a towel around my hand because my hand kept bleeding. So I put tissue on it and then I put paper towel on it. And then I just wrapped like a towel, like a little mini towel around it because my hand kept bleeding. And the police was like, hey man, what happened to you? I was like, hey man, I punched some shit. I was mad. I was upset. I punched the window. I punched it was like a fishbowl that was sitting on the counter in the Parker Positano. I punched the glass chandelier thing that was hanging from the dining room set, and then I also punched a little fishbowl also. And the next day, I went back and grabbed that flat screen from the garbage dump. I remember that. Like, I threw it away, then I came back and grabbed that motherfucker, and me and Tease was laughing about that shit, because it was like, damn, nigga, you threw the flat screen away. I was like, no, I went back and got that motherfucker. I ain't even gonna lie. People was looking at me like I'm crazy and shit. I went back and got that flat screen. So, I don't know what kind of lie been told, but I will say this. If it's somebody trying to basically inflict some bullshit lie on me and say I ran into some old ladies or something like that, the only way that lie could be upheld is if them ladies is in on it, and the only way that can be maintained is if the police is in on it too, because it was too many cameras out there. Those two Hispanic ladies that was out there that hit that car, you know what I'm saying? They hit that car. They was 100% in the wrong. The only way that could be overlooked, the only way that a lie like that could be maintained is if the police is in on it, yo. I'm going to just be honest. And it wasn't nothing but an accident. That happens sometimes. But I wasn't involved in that shit. I saw it. I just remember it being like a 4-way stop. It was cars coming this way. It was cars coming that way. It was cars coming from the left and the right. You know what I'm saying? It was cars going north, south, east, and west at an intersection. You know what I'm saying? So the only way somebody can maintain a law like that over my name for that long is if a lot of people is in on it. And if it's somebody that's fucking with me and they basing them fucking with me off of me like assuming or believing or thinking that I ran into some senior citizens, some ladies that were senior citizens, or them two younger ladies that was like them two younger light-skinned ladies that was Hispanic, if it's somebody that's actually trying to inflict some type of bullshit on me, that mean that they probably most likely they know that I'm innocent also. Because if you thought that I did something like that and you somebody's son, you somebody's nephew, you one of them ladies' grandson or nephew or any of that, why you ain't just come and talk to me directly? Why you ain't just ask me if something like that actually happened? Even if the police did some crooked shit, why you ain't just ask me that directly? So I feel like for a long time now, I've been dealing with that. A lot of people have been basically related to people, and they'll just play some game online, rely on somebody to hack my phone and block my phone away. When I say my phone is hacked, I mean, when I get online, when I get on Instagram, I don't see everything else that's being posted, or everything that I'm putting up is not being seen, or it's somebody else creating other accounts in other places, duplicating accounts and shit. And they're trying to basically make it look like I'm talking to a whole bunch of people that I'm not talking to. That's why I said a long time ago, I think that at some point in time, people believe that they were talking to me and they never did. That's why I said a long time ago, people was better off talking to me in person. But again, if somebody is trying to say I ran over some senior citizens, or somebody's trying to say I ran into these two light-skinned, I think they was Hispanic. The only way that could be overlooked, is if somebody on the law enforcement side is covering that shit up. Because there was so many cameras out there. Or just people being lazy as fuck. I hung out with these two Hispanic girls one time, you know what I'm saying? This was in 2017, but that wasn't them. Those was two other ladies that I was just hanging out with, smoking with, chilling with. You know, they was cool. But those ladies that were driving on the side of me, they was cool too. But I ain't get their number or nothing. I just saw they got into an accident, asked them if they was all right, and I kept driving. That was in 2018. And I think that was on the 24th of March of 2015 when my mom had got hit by that dude that was a drunk driver. And she basically had like a pending lawsuit with him. And her lawyer had gave her like a couple $1,000 because it was a guaranteed win, because the dude that hit her was drunk. He was driving some type of a company van and was drunk. And then right after she basically tried to press charges for that, he filed bankruptcy. I remember this. He filed for bankruptcy. My mom said he had she said he had a business, or he stayed somewhere around like Punta Gorda or Marco Island or something. I don't remember exactly where. But that was how she ended up getting that golden Benz truck. I drove that Benz truck around in the fall of 2015 because right after my keys got stolen, I had basically got my locks changed on my door. This was right after I dropped this one girl off one time to get something to eat from Burger King. And as soon as I pulled back up on 2145 Canal Street, apartment 3 where I was living at, this is in September, October of 2015, I passed out, yo. And I truly believe my drink got drugged. So between September and October of 2015, I think some type of a scandalizing act took place. I think somebody recorded me and made a mockery of me, did something fucked up. So after that, I took my car to my mom's house and she was driving my Impala around. This is around September 2015. She was driving my Impala and I was driving her Benz truck, that all 10 or that gold color Benz truck. Because I told her I don't trust what's going on, so I'm gonna just leave it in Cape Coral for a little while. And then by December 2015, I got shot. And then by 2016, right after I got shot, I moved into Cape Coral with my mom. And then by 2016, like I said, I was at the 7-Eleven on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Fowler Street. I made a right turn up out of the 7-Eleven, pulled up at a red light. I wasn't even in the left turning lane, but when I saw that somebody smacked their motherfucking car and I saw 2 cars flying in the air, I jumped over in the left lane. I did a U-turn. Then I made a right turn into the Advanced Auto Parts and pulled up in the parking lot. I was in my mom's gold Benz truck at this time, yo. My car was totaled at that time. And again, in 2018, it was these 2 ladies that they look Hispanic. They was fine as fuck too. They was sexy, but I didn't get their number. I just pulled over and asked if they was all right after they had ran into whoever that lady was. Man, I was driving down Fowler, yo, and I drove down MLK. I made a left turn on Fowler. I was driving down Fowler, and it was around. I don't remember the street, but I do know that it was a 4-way. Like intersection, you know what I'm saying? There was cars going north and south, and there was also cars going east and west. And I was driving on the right side of the lane. I stopped at the red light. The ladies that was on the left side of me, they was looking at me. The girl that was in the passenger seat was looking at me, smiling through the window and shit like that. So I thought that she was just looking at me. So I was about to let my window down in a minute to try to get her number, because I'm smoking my blunt and I'm blasting my song and shit. And I stopped at the red light. And them ladies drove through. And when they drove through, I was like, yo, I was like, oh. And then while they was driving through, it was some ladies, they had the right of way. They was driving past the green light, you know what I'm saying? On the side, on the other street. So they slowed down, and then they just basically said, it was like they basically just said, fuck it. It was these older ladies. It was 2 old ladies in the car. They were black. And I asked, y'all all right? You know what I'm saying? After they got hit, they just kind of sort of stopped there in the middle of the intersection or whatever. The ladies who hit them, who drove through past the red light, after they drove past that red light, they pulled over on the right side. The front of their car was fucked up. I remember this. And then I asked the ladies, and I made a right turn after that. I'm trying to remember the name of the street, yo. I think it was Evans. It probably was Evans Street. I don't know. But I made a right turn on. I was driving down Fowler. Then when I stopped at the red light, I'm in the right lane or whatever. Then the other ladies on the left side, they kept going. They ran into some lady, and then they drove past the red light or whatever. Then they got over to the right side, and then they pulled over right by the curb. And then, you know what I'm saying, I made a right turn based on on the street that I was at. Then I turned around. And I asked the ladies that was just in their car, the older ladies, the 2 older ladies, was they all right? They were senior citizens. They shook their head, yeah. And then I made a right turn to where the other ladies was at. And I was like, y'all all right? They didn't say shit. They just got out the car. And I was like, damn. And I just drove off. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. But there's no way that somebody could put that on my name and be proven true, because it was too many cameras out there, yo. It was too many fucking cameras out there. The only way that somebody could put that on my name and then get away with it is if some people just chose to be lazy as fuck and not do their research and not see what really happened, yo. It's that simple. When my tires got slashed, I went to this used tire spot that was on Palm Beach Boulevard, yo. Somewhere around like Marsh Street. It was around the corner. It was probably like a mile away from the Red Bones that was on Palm Beach Boulevard. But that was in December 2017 when my tires got slashed. So, I'm about to upload this. I'm trying to figure out what all is going on. But if somebody has thrown that kind of shit on my name, yo, and try to say I hit some senior citizens or I hit those Hispanic ladies, that's some bullshit. That's a whole bold-faced lie, yo. And like I said, it's crazy, because the only way that could be actually believed by anybody is if everybody just said, we not even gonna let the truth be seen. We go cover all this shit up and just throw it on that nigga name. That's the only fucking way. It was too many cameras out there. There's cameras on the traffic lights. There's cameras. Shit, I think those ladies that was recording me, like listening to that song, I think them ladies was recording me and shit like that. I mean, I think them ladies that was driving on the side of me while I was listening to my song, I think they was recording me. I think they was Snapchatting me off. And I'm gonna say this again: if it's some nigga that's a brother, that's a nephew or a son or a grandson or something like that, or a husband, And they basically looking at me like a fucked up nigga, and they saying, oh, I ran into somebody. No, yo, I truly believe that if it's a man looking at me like that, saying that I got into a car accident with somebody or ran somebody over or hit somebody in a messed up way, they know the truth. They just upholding an image for other people to try to make it look like they upset about something that they know is a lie. And I said the whole time I lived in Los Angeles, California, I never drove anybody's car. I was taking buses and Ubers. And somebody got to, man, look. I'm part of the 144,000 Israelites show. I know for a fact that the stuff that God revealed to me, that a lot of messed up stuff is going on. People expect you to not say anything about anything when you believe that somebody is don't look the same. You know, voice recognition and face recognition. People using the voice of people, using their face and making them do stuff online, using clones and stuff to lie. When I say that this stuff exists, people don't believe me. They try to make me like a conspiracy theorist, but I know for a fact that God sees what's going on, and God has given me direction on and instruction on what's going on, and he's giving me insight on what's going on. And unfortunately, when people realize that you got that kind of walk with God going on in your life, they'll try to mess that up. They'll try to just stir up confusion, because that's all I've seen for the last few years, people trying to stir up confusion in my life. But I feel like, no, yo, somebody got to tell me what, like, that's why I said, as a lady, a lot of my prayers been consistent of praying for the people that I said don't look the same, that look like they've been cloned, my siblings, my parents, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to ignore that, act like that's not going on. So I just wanted to say that, yo, because, man, look, 7:38 p.m., December 14, 2025.